Moving on, the world is warming and the effects are damning. And it is an established fact that the so-called developed nations of the West have emitted the lion's share of greenhouse gases. However, many regions in a warming world, even though it has contributed little to the carbon emissions, are driving climate change. And as the debate rages on, it is the rich countries which should now help the poorer nations as the climate crisis continues to worsen. Increasing temperatures and sea levels, changing precipitation patterns, and extreme weather are all threatening human health and safety, food and water security, and socio-economic development in Africa in particular. And now the United States has come forward. The Biden administration is providing around $2 billion in life-saving assistance for the people in Africa. The White House says that the combined effects of the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, the pandemic, long-term complex emergencies, and other effects of climate change have all had an adverse effect on Africa.
Last year, nearly 120 million people in Africa faced acute food insecurity. And only halfway through the 2022, the drought struck and the food costs soared, in part due to Russia's unprovoked war against Ukraine, and the number increased to 140 million people facing acute food insecurity in Africa. Today, famine once more stalks the Horn of Africa. High food prices and high trade barriers are taking a toll on the lives and livelihoods of millions of people across the continent.
The announcements were made at the US-Africa summit that started on Tuesday in Washington, and it has brought together leaders from 49 of Africa's 52 countries. The Biden administration wants to build clean energy industry in Africa as part of a long-term strategy to help the region mitigate and adapt to the worst effects of climate change. In this fiscal year alone, US has provided more than $6 billion in life-saving humanitarian assistance to the people of Africa. Extensive areas of Africa will exceed 2 degrees Celsius of warming above pre-industrial levels by the last 2 decades of this century under medium scenarios, as reported in the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change Assessment. Much of Africa has already warmed by more than 1 degree Celsius since 1901, with a rise in heat waves and hotter days. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.